Hello, everyone, and welcome to this XDC AMA network series. The first question is that, or let's say, my first thing that I would like to state here is why are we doing this series, this XDC AMA series? That is the Ask Me Anything. Sorry. So I think the main objective here is to showcase all the projects and the partnerships that are existing or that are planned on the XDC network. And this would include stakeholders like the different project teams, the different partners, and of course the communities like you along with it. You are all stakeholders in this XDC network community. And the end objective is, of course, through all this awareness and knowledge and know how, etc., what we are trying to do is to scale up the ecosystem, the complete ecosystem, as well as build up the community, which is both the XTC community as well as the different other communities which are built on top of it or which have partnered with the XTC. So that's the objective behind this XDC AMA series. My name is Meenu, and I am a technology evangelist. And in the blockchain sphere, what I have been doing is help the different founders evangelize their technology and their products, services, and to help them build up their ecosystem and scale up their community. And I do have my own blockchain channel, which is called Blockchain Hustle. So I would strongly recommend you to go take a look at it. It is available on the usual channels like your on the podcast. It is on Apple, Audible, Amazon's Audible, Google, Podbean, and it is also available on YouTube, which is the YouTube is a channel at which this session is being broadcasted. So do like it, subscribe to it, and share it. Coming to today's session is on a company called Yoda Plus. And Yoda Plus is a highly specialized tech solutions company. And let me quote that from their website. It is working at the intersection of tech, finance, and blockchain. So today we have Yoda Plus MD Mr. Vishrut Srivastava as a guest for this session. Hi Vishrut, a very warm welcome to this session.
Thank you, Minu. Thank you very much.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Doing well.
And where are you dialing in from, if I can ask?
Sorry,
Where are you calling in from?
I'm calling in from Mumbai, India.
Okay, okay, good, good, good. Nice to know about that. So, Vishrut, let's start this session with if you could give a very brief introduction about yourself, your background, and then we get on to Yoda Plus and then the different questions which are there from the community.
Sure. So yeah, my name is Vishrut Srivastava, and I have been running startups that operate in the fintech space for over a decade. Before starting up, I worked at the intersection of finance and technology for financial institutions such as banks, investment banks, hedge funds, and rating agencies. After Lehman went bankrupt in 2008, I led the development of a valuation platform that helped them unwind their derivatives book and settle disputes with Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, and other Wall Street banks. In my first startup, we built a mobile loyalty program that awarded over 4 billion loyalty points to over 1 million users before I exited to a company in the Silicon Valley. I then founded Yoda Plus that has done pretty interesting work, especially in blockchain technology in the areas such as digital vaults and trade finance. And we are a very proud development partner to the XDC network in this regard.
So, when was Yoda, which year was Yoda Plus incepted? When did you start this?
2017.
2017. Okay. So, which would just set in the context for our listeners and viewers. Can you just share what does Yoda Plus do? What does it specialize in? And then, if you could touch upon the relation or the context between Yoda Plus and the XDC network.
Sure. So as you mentioned, from our website, it's we are a fintech uh, firm focused on capital markets, financial institutions, and with an increased focus on blockchain now.
Hmm.
It's an evolving technology, and we have been at it since 2017. We were associated with another company, in the blockchain space, which was a pioneer in trade finance. And since then, we have worked on blockchain as well as on other applications in capital markets, whether it's risk management, market data management, enterprise data management, and risk other capital market applications. And so that was our core, and then we moved to blockchain, and in blockchain we have been associated with XDC network for a year now, and we have built a multi-sig vault which holds XDC as well as holds XRC20 tokens,
Hmm.
such as Nota and Store SRX,
Hmm.
stable coins like USDG, US, SGDG, and several others.
Hmm.
That's been a journey for the last 5 years.
Hmm. And why did you pick up XDC Network?
See, XDC network, I found it to be first of all, it's a serious network. It's not about just games. I know games are very important. It's a serious network about finance
Yeah,
and financial applications. It has got a very good infrastructure and network in the sense that it is low cost, very efficient. It uses a delegated proof of stake,
yeah.
and so it gelled with our philosophy and our own inclination of the kind of company that we wanted to work with.
Hmm. Great. Good to hear that. So if I got it right, you guys have got this core expertise in the finance domain, and then you saw blockchain as one of the technologies that you can leverage to give better products and services. And amongst that, you found the XinFin, the XDC network as your blockchain of choice. Correct?
Right, exactly.
Okay. Great.
And we
Perfect.
see a lot of promise. That's why
Yeah.
we wanted to work in this with Zinfin because we saw promise.
Hmm.
Uh, it's very different. It's not the regular
Hmm.
meme coin or a joke coin or
Hmm.
a gold coin. It's about finance and
It's serious
so
business.
serious business. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, because you do see maybe perhaps there could be a few others who are, because it's a buzzword and people get into it. And
Right.
some people say, okay, we are in it for the long run. It has to serve a function, some benefits, and that's how we grow.
Yes.
Okay,
Exactly.
good. Okay, so before I get on to the actual questions from the community, Vishrut,
Yeah.
you mentioned about the multi-signature vault or the wallet, right? And
Yes.
that's your key product, if I'm not mistaken here.
Yes.
Okay. So could you just explain for all the viewers and the listeners here as to what is a multi-signature wallet and how does it work?
Sure. So before I answer that question,
Yeah.
I would like to just highlight two things that will emphasize why you need a multi-signature wallet.
Hmm.
The first is something that anyone who holds a wallet, a crypto wallet, will know about, which is the fat
Hmm.
finger error.
Hmm.
And what's the fat finger error? Basically, if I'm sending, say, $200,000 to an address, instead of sending $200,000, I send $200 million because I missed two decimal points, and I removed the decimal points, and instead of sending 200, I sent 200 million.
I would love
Now,
to be the recipient.
so would I, but what about the person who sent it? That's
Yeah,
so he's, and once it's gone off your wallet, unless and until the recipient gives it back to you, if you were gracious enough to give it back to me, then I would be
yeah,
very happy. But if you weren't, there's no way for me to get it back, right?
yeah, yeah.
And so what the multi-sig vault does is it helps prevent this kind of error from
Okay,
happening. It gives you very good safeguards and ways to kind of take care of something that will prevent this to happen. The second thing is you must have heard of some, a case where a person lost $350 million because he lost his private key.
oh yeah, there are several stories on that. Yeah, yeah,
Yes, yes. So there was this early holder of Bitcoin. He had it in
yeah,
a hard drive, and that hard drive went into trash, and it disappeared. And so
yeah,
did his $350 million.
yeah.
So again, we at Yoda Multisig Vault help you in such situations where you could actually have $350 million back.
Yeah. And referring to that incident that you have just mentioned about that thing has gone, the hard drive has gone into the trash. I recollect a news item which mentioned that this guy has put in a reward, a substantial reward for anybody who can find it out and salvage it or something like that.
Right,
So
right, right.
perhaps you, yeah, maybe it's too late for your thing, but yeah, if he had used your product,
If you had used the product, you would have to pay a very small transaction fee, that if at all, and
yeah,
and it would all be safe.
okay, great.
So with
So yeah,
yeah,
sorry.
so with that, I just want to introduce. So
Hmm,
basically, what a multi-sig vault is that you have multiple owners of a wallet,
hmm,
and for any transaction to happen out where money leaves the wallet, it
hmm.
requires the approval of two or more owners. So,
Okay,
for example, there can be three owners, four owners of a wallet, and you can configure it that two or three of those owners can approve the transaction. Only then it will leave the wallet. So that's it.
hmm,
It's a very simple concept.
okay.
There's nothing more
Is
to it
there
than that.
is there a minimum number here about the owners when you talk about a multi-sig?
Well, theoretically, there is just one. One is the minimum
Okay.
number of owners, but the
Hmm,
real value comes when you have multiple owners.
hmm.
It could be one
Okay.
owner, but with multiple devices. When we say owners, what I mean is that it is private keys.
Okay.
When I say
I get
owner,
it.
it means one private key. So I could be a single owner. I could have two hardware wallets and one wallet on my laptop, and I could be the single owner, but I have three private keys. So technically, I'm three owners, and I can operate the vault and and do it very securely.
Okay. Okay. Good. Good. Okay. So let's get on to the questions then, Vishrut here. I think you did mention about it earlier, but I just, if you could perhaps repeat or give me an answer here. How many tokens does the multi-sig wallet support? And if you can, please share the names of a few tokens which are available in the Yoda Plus multi-sig wallet.
Sure. So in addition to XDC, the
Yeah.
Yoda Plus multi-sig wallet also supports XRC20 tokens. Any XRC token like SRX,
Hmm.
PLI, US
Hmm.
Nota,
Hmm.
GBEX, and even stable coins like SGDG, EURG, and others are all supported on the Yoda Plus multi-sig wallet.
Okay, great. And there was a question of can I manage using the decent wallet?
Yes, the decent wallet has Wallet Connect interface support, and using that you can connect the decent hardware wallet to the Yoda Plus multisig wallet and
Okay,
operate it just like any other transaction.
okay. So it's compatible with that.
It's compatible, yes, and you
Okay,
can have
great.
more than one. You can have three decent wallets
Okay.
connected. As I said, for the case where you would want to secure your
You can
keys.
have multiple there, huh?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, good. And coming on to referring to tokens only, does Yoda Plus have its own token?
So we work directly on XDC network. We don't have our own tokens.
So the
So
underlying token of XDC itself is what you use.
yes, yes.
Okay, okay. Any plans for your own token?
Not as of now. I think, as I said, we are in the serious business, so we will help. We have other ways of monetization as opposed to just floating tokens and
Hmm.
watching its value grow. We intend to provide some value to the people who uh, hold their tokens in the Yoda Plus multisig vault by providing them with yield and things like that, which we'll come to later.
Okay. Yeah, yeah,
And through that process, we will kind of benefit.
yeah. So the focus is more on the services, etc. right now.
Yes, yes, yes.
No problem. Great. And coming back onto the multi-sig wallet itself, is there any hierarchy between the different, when you talk about multi-sig, the multiple keys or owners or whatever way you want to term it? Is there any hierarchy? And the second one is there any time locked signing in the multi-sig sig wallets?
So the answer to that is right now we don't have any hierarchy or any
Yeah.
time limit.
Okay.
However, we're working on the approval matrix, which would enforce some kind of hierarchy if needed.
Okay.
Uh, that is something that's in the works.
Okay. So it would work as in if I have, let's say, three signatories which are required, it would have to come, the approvals have to come in that particular order.
Yeah, that's when the hierarchy comes into
Hierarchy
play.
comes in. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And the time locked is also something which is not there right now, and you are planning to get that, or how does that work?
So it'll depend on the demand. We have not
Okay.
really put it on the product roadmap yet, the time
Yeah.
locked
Okay.
contracts. If there's a demand, we can definitely put it in. I
So
think right
right
now,
now, yeah,
so right now the use case of the core use case is so strong that we want to
yeah.
focus on that and have people use it in for the purpose that is built for. And then as it goes into enterprises, as we
Mm.
get more people with higher, bigger holdings into
Yeah,
the,
yeah.
then I think these
Things will
the,
come into the place.
yes, yes.
Yeah. So right now, Vishrut, in the absence of any time lock, it would be that the transaction doesn't expire. So if it is waiting for the second or the third or whatever number of signature to come in, it's there. It doesn't expire after, let's say, an X amount of time.
It does not expire. However, you can reverse. You can you can
Okay.
do a reject. You can do a reject of that transaction in case you don't want it to propagate.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Okay.
there's an element of where you can have a manual intervention and you can stop the transaction.
Okay. Yeah. 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 It makes a lot of sense that we just build a robust product right now, and then as the request and the demo comes in, I mean, sorry, the demand comes in, you try to incorporate that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so we do see demand for hierarchy.
Yeah.
For time lock, we have not seen that much demand. When there is,
Okay.
we can definitely put it in
Hmm.
place.
Great. So you did mention about the security, but just if we could have a few points here on what are the benefits of the multi-sig wallets and the pros and cons of using multi-sig wallets compared to the other non-multi-sig, the single user wallet.
Yeah, so let's take the case I mentioned. That I have, say, a big holding. I have a hardware wallet, right?
Yeah.
I can buy another couple of hardware wallets, right? And I now have three private keys. I set up the Yoda Plus multisig vault with these three as owners, and I
Hmm.
set up the policy as two out of these three can do any kind of transaction.
Okay.
And that transaction can be a monetary transaction. It can also be addition or removal of devices to the vault.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
So I can keep one of these three devices in a secure place, locked up somewhere, and I can
Hmm.
operate all my transaction with these two because you require for any transaction require two owners.
Yeah.
Now, what? Suppose I lose one of them. I lose one of them somewhere, or someone gets the private key from one of my devices. He still cannot really complete a transaction. He can initiate, and it'll appear in the vault as something
Hmm.
that needs to be approved, but it'll stay there.
Hmm.
So as soon as I know that my device is compromised, the first thing I'll do is I will A, reject that transaction, B, I will remove that device, and I'll buy another device and add it, right?
Okay. Right. Hmm.
And I can do that because I have my third device in my locker, which I'll take out, and I'll with the rest of the two devices, I will carry out the whole operation. So, so in that way, I will prevent loss of my money simply because someone got my private keys. I have
Hmm. Hmm.
introduced number of failure points. It's not just one failure point. Now the
Yeah.
person has to have multiple devices
Yeah.
and multiple private keys.
Yeah. So you eliminate a single point of failure here.
Yes, yes.
Hmm. 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 Okay.
And the
Okay.
other is, where we talk about the fat finger error. So that is another kind of security, but it's slightly different in the sense that
Hmm.
I initiated. There are two people. I'm in an organization. There are two of us, and any
Hmm.
transaction that has to go through four eyes. So two of my eyes and another pair of eyes. So now
Hmm.
what will happen is, suppose instead of $200,000, I put in $200 million by mistake. So it
Yeah.
goes into vault and it's shown as, it's initiated. Now the
Yeah.
second set of eyes will see those $200 million and say, okay, no, we were supposed to send 200, not 200 million. So he can reject it, and I can
Yeah.
and we prevent that fat finger error from
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah. So there's another check which comes into place.
Yes, yes,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Especially when you are having a lot of money, or even if you have a reasonable amount, you would be anyhow would like to
yes,
be keep it
yes.
secure.
So if you have a lot of money, or if you're an enterprise, you
Yeah.
know, and
You don't want
typically
single person.
exactly
Yeah. It could he or she could mishandle the funds. Yeah.
correct.
Correct. And another one, while we're talking about this multi-sig wallet, is that Understand that the Yoda Plus multi-sig wallet can also be used for the escrow transaction as well as for the DAO, the decentralized autonomous organization.
Correct.
Could you just share a bit on that?
Yeah, sure. So on the escrow transaction, typically what happens in escrow transaction, there's a buyer, there's a
Yeah.
seller,
Yeah.
and there might be a mediator, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And when the agreement is signed, you create an escrow account, and
Hmm.
whatever the value of the transaction, you put the money in there, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Subject to the buyer approving the quality of goods or services,
Hmm.
uh, um, the money leaves the escrow account and goes into the supplier's account, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
typically the way a traditional escrow account works.
Escrow works. Correct.
Yes. So here, what you can do is you can have this multi-sig vault with three owners. You can have the
Hmm.
buyer, the seller, and the mediator. Okay, and when the agreement is signed,
Hmm.
the buyer will the seller will initiate a transaction and
Hmm.
put it in and have the funds parked in the vault,
Multi-sig wallet. Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
multi-sig vault.
Hmm.
Now, when the buyer receives the goods
Yeah.
and he's satisfied, then there's no problem. He just approves, and the
Yeah.
transaction leaves and goes to the seller's own uh, own wallet, which can be another multi-sig vault, or it could be a single owner wallet also.
So the buyer approving the transaction serves as a second signature.
As a second signature. Now,
Yeah.
if the buyer is not happy, right,
Hmm.
then the
Hmm.
mediator comes in play, and the
Hmm.
mediator will then take a call. He'll look at the case, and then based on the case, he can then either, if he thinks that the quality of goods is fine, the services have been rendered, he can approve the transaction, and the money will go into the seller account.
Yeah.
And if he feels that the buyer has a genuine grievance, then he can reject it, and so that's how the escrow account would work in a multi-sig vault.
Hmm. Great. So just for all the audience here, I do have Vishrut had shared the demos for the escrow and for the DAO, but because it's around a little bit more than 10 minutes, I can't include it into the session. So what I would do is towards the end, I would just share the links. And also after this broadcast has completed, when you watch it on the YouTube, Blockchain Hustle YouTube channel, I would put the links there also. So it'll be there for you to kind of look at it, uh, view it even later on. So those are the two, and I should remember to put it on there, the links. Great. So coming back, Vishrut, on the Yoda Plus and the XDC link, okay? I understand that Yoda Plus had developed a smart contract tokenization platform for XDC, something on the trade finance assets,
Right.
correct?
Correct.
Okay. So, and this was, if I understand correctly, it was a part of TradeTech's partnership with XinFin in offering the trade finance products as to the institutional investors as tokens,
Correct.
right? It was
Correct.
NFTs, right?
It is modeled as an NFT,
Yeah.
but it was for this purpose of trade
Yeah.
finance tokens.
So, can you just share a little bit on that? So, apart from the
Yes.
multi-sig model, we can see another if your expertise here. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, sure. So basically, today, if you have say crypto holdings, right, or if you have tokens, and you have them sitting and parked in a wallet, right,
Hmm. Hmm.
whether it be a multi-sig wallet or it can be a plain vanilla wallet.
Hmm.
Now, if you had similar money in a bank, it would earn interest,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Now you have these crypto holdings and you want to also earn interest, right? You have some holdings that's lying idle, they can be put into work to earn some kind of yield. One
Yeah.
of the ways that people typically did that was by staking. In a proof of stake
Hmm.
network, you do
Yeah.
put your crypto holdings as staking, and you get the staking rewards.
Yeah.
This is another way of generating yield, where
Hmm.
you have the trade finance instruments that are going to give some kind of interest, because there's accounts receivables, and or there is
Hmm.
a
Yeah.
bill of lading. There's some goods in some container that's locked as capital, and it's being transported from one place to the other, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, so that yield we tokenize it,
Mm.
and we pass it on to the institutional investors. So institutional investors can have fractional ownership in these, in these trade finance assets,
Mm.
or bill, which can be bills, discounted bills, or it can be bill of lading, or any of the other forms of
Okay.
trade
Yeah.
finance.
Yeah. Okay. So one is that you're fractionalizing it, so I guess that makes it more accessible to more investors.
Right.
Instead of, let's say, one investor picking up the big chunk of the money which is behind that trade finance asset. So one I understand is that you are fractionalizing that asset, making it more accessible. And the second one is that instead of an idle fund or an idle asset, you're turning it into a yield generating asset. Did I get that
Correct.
right?
Yes,
Okay.
you're right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And also the flexibility, it gives you more
Correct.
flexibility. So you may still
Yeah,
want to hold large amounts, but it gives you
yeah,
the flexibility to own less or more, because it is fractionalized and you
yeah.
know put into smaller units.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because earlier, I think most of the hype and I guess most of the people were conversant more with the fractionalizing of, let's say, artwork or buildings. For example, there was one in Manhattan, right? A couple
Yeah,
of
yeah.
years back, it was put as people could own it, even though it
Right,
is fractional or parts of it. But to
right,
put it as also in documents or trade finance assets like the bill of lading or your receivables or something,
right.
you're making it more accessible plus also yield generating with it, which I guess is a pretty good combination there. Yeah,
Correct.
making
Correct.
it opening the doors to a few other things. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. So, Vishal, coming to again to the XDC community. Now, I'm asking you to do a sales pitch here to the XDC community. So, how does Yoda Plus provide value to the crypto and to the blockchain community, especially the XinFin, the XDC network community? So, what's your sales pitch to the community here?
Sure. So see, the XDC network is supported by an extremely fast and cost-efficient consensus mechanism.
Yeah.
We want more and more people to participate in this great investment opportunity, right? And the Yoda Plus multi-sig vault is a huge milestone for the XDC network, because community members will not only benefit from the enhanced security and safety, but will also see the value of their holdings grow, as this added layer of safety will encourage more serious investors with larger holdings to participate and get into the network.
Hmm, hmm. Yeah, because it's actually a network effect. It's very prominent in the blockchain space.
Right,
So once you have attracted more more investors because of the safety and the security, they're going to put in more money. The word is going to get around, and the network grows. Yeah,
exactly.
good,
And more
great.
people benefit from the faster transactions, the cheaper
Yeah,
transaction costs.
yeah, yeah. The gas
So it's a
fees.
win-win for all.
Okay, good, 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 great. So there was you had mentioned about the fat finger thing, and I do have a couple of news items that you had put in earlier. Just let me share that here. I put it onto the screen, and then you can maybe put a few points once again. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is one of them.
Yes.
The Bitfinex crypto exchange mistakenly sends 24 million worth. Fat finger error.
Yes, and so you can see that it's obviously a case of decimals, wrong decimals, or
Correct.
incorrect. You're typing more zeros than you should, and
Yeah.
this happens, and it can happen to anyone. Uh,
Yeah.
so that's where the vault would come in, and
Yeah.
you make that error. There's still a checker, will check it and prevent it from happening. So
Yeah.
the value is huge. It's immense.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. That's correct. And then there was another one. I'll just do that one second. Yeah, this is the hard drive one,
Yes.
right? This is the one. Yeah.
Yes. So here you can see, you lost your private key, you have lost $280 million.
Straight away down.
It's
Yeah.
gone, and you have the multisig vault, and you have saved the $280 million, because you have
Yeah.
other devices.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's such a big and such a simple use case for securing your holdings.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. So let me just put these two links here on the chat comments here for viewers to look at it later on. Okay, so there is one on the escrow demo and there is another one on the DAO demo. I'll put it again separately just in case. That's one. And yeah. Yeah, so in the community, for the person who had requested for the demo, while I could not include the demo in the session, I am providing the link here. So we have accepted the request and are demonstrating about the wallet use here. And just to remind, I would also include these links in the YouTube channel. So before I end this session, Vishrut, let me just stop the screen share here. So before I end this session, Vishrut, is there something which we would have missed out or something which you want to share with the community here in this forum?
So we did touch upon the DAO case, but I didn't really elaborate on it. So
Yeah,
but that's a very interesting one because it is at the heart of the decentralized philosophy, where you have a DAO, which is a decentralized autonomous organization, and
yeah.
a DAO would have funds, and you would have a board of directors, and this is a great way for the board of directors to actually manage the funds of the organization in a democratic way. So it just
Mhm.
takes that whole consensus mechanism and puts it, to an organization too. So apart from that, yeah, I mean, I guess we have covered most of the other things.
Okay, great. So, well, thanks a lot, Vishrut, for sharing all this information and, of course, for your time. Do really appreciate it. And
Thank you very much.
community, thanks a lot for your support as usual. And I do hope that you found this informative and useful. And stay tuned for tomorrow's AMA, which is on a company called eCoin. So I'll speak with you guys tomorrow. And once again, Vishrut, thanks and a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Thank you, Minu. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you too.
Thank you. Thanks.